Well, folks, can I lick down this mountain? Beautiful, beautiful. And you know what goes with this? The famous red solo. Lunch provided by La Sana today. I don't know when the fella going to start cooking again, you know. You only buy a set of roti for me. But I enjoyed it, eh? Sarah? Where you go?
They're going to lick me, or they're going to say, you're trying to kill Lancy, right?
Yeah, man. And in this corner here, weighing 185 pounds.
How you know that got down to 175, eh?
175 is the famous Dale.
Boy, that teenager, wait, boy.
Yeah.
And inside there with Mama Lou is Christy.
Yes, man.
So we're spending a nice, quiet Saturday here.
Nice and easy, man.
Nice and lazy.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking like it from the Amazon, boy. Swinging in a hammock.
For real, I'm feeling like one of them.
Yes, folks. So, well, I am going to indulge a little bit here with my. I should come on the other side of this chair.
Yeah, man. Where do you that chair? That chair nicer.
This chair here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Definitely, man. You know, I was thinking this morning, something I seldom do, I think. But I was
That's
thinking.
a good thing. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing?
Good not to think.
Okay, buddy. I was thinking this morning about this question about the brain drain and how many West Indians coming back to the West Indies being deported from the United States, according to the general up there. And I remember being at the Express back in the 60s. I joined the Express in 67. And it was a period when there was notably a lot of migration from Trinidad. Lots of West Indians were going to England and they were going to New York, right? And I guess the reason being, although we had oil in the country, I don't know, but people found themselves leaving Trinidad. And there was a big brain drain migration. And recently I saw in The Guardian a big discussion about brain drain and how, you know, we are poorer for the skilled labor that went, the academics and whatnot. But now that people are coming back, someone in the government suggested that we are going to benefit from the return of these migrants, right? Mm-hmm. But what are they coming back to? These will probably be the offspring of people who had left back in the 60s, the 70s. Is there sufficient preparation made? Has the economy changed? Housing, you know, to accommodate this mass return of people? What's your take on it, Sana?
Well, that is something, is actually a topic of interest and true. Because as I say, it wouldn't be the ones, or let's go put it at 90, 85%, 90% of the ones who would have migrated at that time, they would have been now the parents of the one who are coming back to Trinidad, or the West Indians. So then the skill level would change. What would have left would have been the skills of parents, or in most cases, or nearly all the parents, yes. That skill level would have changed then. So what has left is not what's going to be returned in most cases. What is going to be returned is a new skill level. But the question comes back to, yes, it could be useful, it could be, because let's just say a carpenter left. It wouldn't be a carpenter returning. It may be a businessman returning, which would be the son, because the idea of their leaving Trinidad, going over there, was to further, to experiment and to develop. Now that might have happened in some cases. Some cases might have just been a lateral movement where carpenter stepped down to carpenter, or businessman stepped over to businessman, in terms of father, parents and children. But in the case of skill level changing, when they return, they will return with some
Mm-hmm.
different level of skill.
Mhm.
Here's the trick. Where they would have developed that skill was compatible to the environment, to the society that they would have been in. Culture. They are going to develop and they are going to be a very big something called culture shock.
Yeah.
So when you have culture shock, you have a standstill. That standstill could be a determining factor of whether you feel you make or break, as we just say. Because if you leave, you have developed skills in a culture. This is how we do it here. This is how it's been done. This is what we do. This is what we sell. This is where we go. When you bring that skill level over here, is it going to be adaptable to what we are doing here? Is it going to filter into our system?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to add or is it going to take away? That's one. That is skill level. That is contribution. Then we had the other factors. Did they make preparation for if this something like this was going to happen at that time?
Right.
Or did they make preparation in terms of I am not selling my place. I will continue to rent my place. Should in case I have to come back, I have a place to come back to.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously somebody is going to be disposition. Somebody, the renter is going to be disposition. The
Right.
person is coming back to live. Right? Or did they do this, the other flip to that, which would be sell out and move. They sell out and you move, you come back, you have to make sure you come with something to buy back and start over.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, starting over. So yeah, it have pros and cons, it have filters. It's either you're going to filter in, it's either you're going to make that culture shock is good. It is going to have a culture shock.
Yeah.
There will be, because even though if you're at Trinidad, wherever part, I just say Trinidad, you're left at 9 years, 10 years, you have not built a culture as yet at that age.
Right.
Or you have not learned a culture fully. So when you filter from here and you go over, you would have now started to learn the culture over there. Now when you come with the culture from there over here. To get that culture shock, it is a factor where you would have to take into consideration of how am I going to filter, how am I going to fit back into the system. There are people that you would have left at small and come back and they will see you, meet you and greet you. But then you realize that's how we have to live.
Yeah. It's not a holiday.
It's not a holiday. That is not a holiday. It is a factor where you have to live. And that is where you have to take into consideration. Some
Yeah.
people may say, I built a resume, I had this business in X place, and I was doing this and I was doing that. You build a resume on your experience over there, you come over. Some people may say that might be beneficial to us, ignoring the fact that what you come in with will create a culture shock in a business.
So how do you psychologically prepare these people for coming back home? Or even the descendants returning?
Integration.
Hmm?
One way is integration. You have to integrate slowly back into the culture and try to integrate what you have learned into it. But that, yes, they could do programs to integrate people back into the system, right? Where they take and they give.
Mm-hmm.
You bring something, you get something. You bring a knowledge, you have our culture, you bring a culture, we try to middle it towards it. We wouldn't measure 100% because for something to work properly without noise, it had to mesh gear into gear.
Yeah.
It wouldn't measure 100%. It may have a tight fit somewhere. Some things will work, some things will not work. So you have to do to integrate your mind into a culture that you would have left. But the culture they leave, mind you, is not the culture they come into meet.
No.
The country they leave is not the country they're coming back to.
You mean,
You're talking about
you mean like in the 60s when they left?
when they left.
Right.
What if the ones who left they are older now and they are still alive and they're coming back? This is not what they're leaving. It is not what they left. They are coming back to something new, totally alienated to them.
Yeah.
And supposing they come back here financially strapped, because the government there, or governments wherever, may decide, okay, you don't deserve You know, a man drawing money from there. He's coming back to a government that should be taking care of him. Suppose they freeze all those assets over there.
Well, this is what you know, I never really thought about this topic until they brought it up here, right? But I think one of the things that I need to find out first of all is if it is they're sending back, let me say they're sending back Trinidadians, are you allowed or are you given time to like sell your property and be able to transfer your money, and or is it that they just pick you up and send you back?
I can't claim to have the answer to that.
Right. Well, you know, maybe if somebody know, they could say in the comments. Because if it is that is as brutal as being just picked up and sent back here, and hey, well, you will try to do your business online and get your property sold, and that is really your business. But our business is that we need to get you back where you belong. Right? To come back to Trinidad without your money is really boy, may God have mercy on you. Yes?
You probably come out as a beggar.
Yeah.
Well, so to speak.
I could see the health. Because they always want nurses and things from Cuba and these different islands. So maybe if people coming back in the healthcare, well, hopefully they will get jobs. Because if it is we just use Cuban nurses and that kind of thing, if we have nurses returning to Trinidad, well, hopefully they will get a job.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
Again too, it will have some culture shock in all of that. Everything will have the culture shock, but it will have areas where some people will fit in almost immediately. You know, and it has some areas that people will have to train into.
Yes.
And as I say, you don't know if we don't know if they come being able to prepare themselves to come back.
Yeah.
Usually we know when these things usually take place, it's like the grab and send back most of the time. We don't know if they're telling them, alright, you have this, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
But I like that point you were bringing up with the pros and cons. Like, let me see, you was using a carpenter as an example. We could really end up with one of the good pros, and maybe this is what the person was referring to. If a man would have gone to the States, just a normal carpenter, and let me see, because we talk about the offsprings being returned to Trinidad, right? And you come down and train under your father, but you know, you're up your game, you have nice laser miter saws, and you have equipment.
Everything.
Right. And you come and you set up a shop down here, right? Who might end up with the problem is the people that are already established here in Trinidad, but they mightn't have them skills and technology.
Correct.
Because if a man come back down here and open up a state-of-the-art workshop,
I hear you.
right? And he could mass produce high quality goods. But because of the efficiency of the shop, he could end up undercutting the market. So a lot of them might come back and do extremely well because of the skills and the technology that they may be coming back with. But it could also put our people that have been established here in this country,
Who have developed here.
right? It could put
Under
them now
real strain.
under some real strain, you know?
Yeah. Because they're talking about they exposed to the technology, the new tools that they have tools for almost everything that make your
Yeah.
life easy. You don't even have to lift a board, you clamp a board and move it.
Yeah.
We just see, right?
Yeah.
Because we just watch documentary, we would see a lot of new technology on the market, new machinery, new equipment. So they would have been exposed. We exposed to it, but
Yeah.
not physical. They would be physically exposed. They would have the hands on also how to operate them, where to get them,
Yeah.
how to use them, these things. And yeah, that bring them back with an advantage.
But why this
But it
always
doesn't-
feeling the watch man? Once somebody benefiting, somebody losing, you know.
True.
That-
yeah.
and at the end of the day, that's
it
all
will
it
ever
is.
be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. So, regardless of if some come and those that losing, somebody locally winning.
Yeah.
And who end up coming back and winning? Somebody locally losing.
Yeah, because they cut into the system now.
Yeah.
So we have mass production as opposed to
Yeah.
two mass production, but one producing more than the other.
That's why problems never ending. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there, excuse me a little bit there. You mentioned a while ago about the culture shock. Let's take the work ethic for instance. That would be a culture shock, right?
Who are
The
big
work,
culture shock,
Definitely.
the work ethic we have here.
Definitely, yeah.
How do you think these people are going to be able to cope? You think the work ethic has improved over the years?
That would
On
be
a general
on a
scale.
general scale. I can't say totally, because I would like to think that it has improved,
Mm.
right? But that improvement depends on an individual, I would say, because ethics is basically an individual. It's not what you are. It's not conditions, right? So I would say based on generation changeovers,
Mm.
ethics could change.
Yeah.
But how much has it changed?
Okay. I understand.
I think the big question is whether they're coming back in managerial positions or they're
Or
coming back as
laborers.
laborers. Because if they come back as laborers, they will enjoy this, but not to be placed in management. Because when they have to deal with
Rebellious
certain
person.
rebellious behavior, lead coming and hey boss, me coming to work today, I sick. Boss will come to work on a Ash Wednesday, boy. As a
And that's a thing.
as a manager,
That's
if they come
that's
back
it.
in managerial position,
Mhm.
it could be real thing.
But
for them.
I believe it would be a mix of positions.
Mhm.
That's so that speaking coming back.
Yeah.
It will be different thing. Some people might look at it as you were not here for all this time, so
Yeah.
you had to start from
You see,
grassroots.
exactly. I'm glad they bring up that. That is, I could see this happening on the workplace. That a man might be in a position, right, a management position, and damn, somebody who come back with a new set of skills and knowledge, come and get the job, and it could cause a lot of problems
A lot
also
of
on the
problems,
workplace because,
yes.
hey boss, I don't here, I in that position, boy,
Yeah,
and this man come, and that now is interfere with production,
definitely.
right?
It would.
Yeah, because
definitely.
workers start to get even more kickback now.
Yeah, because it's not a matter of being owed to me, but I've been working for that.
Yes,
Yeah, understand?
Yeah.
I've been working towards that. You know?
it got some issues.
It will.
It got
It's
some
going to have.
issues.
It's going to have.
Yeah.
It's going to have a lot.
Maybe a lot of them who coming back, hopefully they will be able to open their own businesses.
Well,
It depends on the financial state.
depends on the financial state if they come back
Yeah.
enough to sit a start. But because again, when they come back, you can't go to the bank just so and say, I want a loan.
No,
You're going
because
on- what you're going on-
procedures and protocol remain.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it remains the same. So in order to start something, you have to have something.
Yeah.
You
But for
understand?
who really was trying to make a life overseas, I ain't even calling any country name, that hey, we want to make our life here, right? And really had no plans to ever return into their homeland, is a real situation to be placed in,
Is that right? Yeah, yeah.
you know? So
That's the thing.
I sympathize with who really wanted to make a life elsewhere, but this has always been going on in the world,
But yeah,
Don't feel it's only now these things happening. This
No, it don't.
happening, people being taken from their homeland and carried to other lands and people being shipped all over the world.
Mhm.
This is just a
Deportation
never-ending
has
cycle.
always been happening.
Yeah.
Not at this volume, probably, or not,
Yeah.
not so openly, but it has been happening.
Mhm.
Might have been known as by different terms.
Might, right?
Yeah.
And there are some people too who would have been preparing to come back all before this might have been taken.
Yeah.
Some people I know would have been preparing
Yeah.
themselves to come back willingly,
Yeah.
and just some, as you say, may not have any plans to be
Exactly.
dispositioned again.
Which means that it can have there's an emotional side to this also.
Mhm.
This thing is a real broad thing. Because you don't think about a man come back here, right? You come back and a man say, "Wow, boy, you get deported, boy." Psychologically, you don't have to interfere with a man ego, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Watch it, you come back here, Trinidad, they want you. Yeah, that's something to make a man end up in the mother's boy.
True.
In 1969, when I was due to leave England, I went to buy a ticket to sail from Southampton, right? That crossing over the Atlantic will take 15 days. The pound was worth $2.40, right? It cost me 75 pounds. You could do the maths. To travel on a Spanish liner called the Begonia, which touched on the north of Spain, Las Palmas, Tenerife. But I was talking to the Jamaican elderly man who was selling me the ticket. And I said, how come you never thought of going back to Jamaica? He said, son, I want to go home, but my wife doesn't want to go back. And he said, it's the woman who don't want to come home because the health benefits, right? All the benefits they are entitled to in London, and above all, the grandchildren. If we come home,
Right.
we have to leave the grandchildren behind.
Yeah.
I have the attachment, you see. So this is going to be a real disruption of families, eh?
Yeah.
But you know, the more you talk about this topic, is the more you kind of seeing things, eh? Because it really started up as how it got benefit the country, eh? But people, this is a really interesting topic because some people also left their homeland because of things like family feud and them kind of thing too, you know.
True. Yeah.
Right? So they may have left the country, they ain't talking to their mother and their father, and they ain't talking to their brother and sister, right? And many people have left their homeland based on negativity in family life and never corrected.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're coming back like a real stranger in your land, you know.
Yeah.
Right?
They never corrected. They left with it. They never corrected. They come back and meet it.
Yeah.
Nobody there to receive
Yeah.
it.
So it
Who's
happens.
receiving it?
Yeah.
But we hope that the generation would have changed, whereby that would have dissipated,
Yeah.
and the new generation would have been a welcoming arm,
Yeah.
or they grow with
Like
it.
it depends on on a nephew or something. Eh?
These are what we're talking about. The generation
Yeah.
would have changed, and hoping cousin do have that with their cousin.
Yeah, boy.
Then too, if they left with that food, they would not have been communicating.
Yeah.
So unless it was secret.
That's why it is.
You really are white.
Watch me that. That whole scene come back into play. Don't burn your bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Don't burn your bridges because you know life might have been going good for years,
Yeah.
but you never anticipate something like this. You know.
But I believe somewhere in the back of their minds, I don't think that anybody would have left. Or let me just say, let me say me and you decide to migrate. We going out. Somewhere in the back of your mind, we had to put something in your mind to prepare ourselves that if we don't make it, we had to come back.
Right.
If we doing well and the law pick up with we had to come back. So I believe that, I want to believe that some way.
Well, boy, back to what you was talking about earlier.
In the una cabeza.
Yeah, watch your words come back and hold you there.
Yeah.
Everybody different.
Everybody different.
You would like
and
to
we was
believe
now
so.
talking about
You
that.
would like to believe so.
That's what I'm saying. I would like to
You would
believe
like to
that.
believe so,
But
yeah.
I thinking so.
No,
You
that's
thinking
that's
so.
some people go
Doesn't
on.
mean that he will think so.
Yeah, that's what people go on there tell. Hey, this is my life.
This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Oh gosh.
For real, because I would think if I was to move like that. And you know, some
You
people
don't
might
have
say
insurance, boy.
insurance.
Yeah,
Some people
but-
might
but
say
I
if
could-
you're thinking like that, then you wouldn't be able to go forward.
Yeah.
but expect the unexpected and
Yeah.
leave room for
Because you see
disappointment.
what you keep saying, most likely, hopefully they might have leave their house here rented.
But they
Right?
don't say that insurance.
Because of how you thinking.
Yeah.
But most of them
you
is
will
not
you will leave here, but you ain't selling your house.
No, I would put that back in place because
Right.
in case anything.
But it have people sell out
Mm-hmm.
And gone.
and gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
And listen, a piece of land in Trinidad, if a piece of land undeveloped by the time you finish partner, is about $500,000.
5 to 600,000.
For a little talent. You buy a piece of land for 50,000, bet your bottom dollar you're spending close to 400,000 to cut road full up and that kind
To
of thing.
develop and bring up to the
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it depends on where you buy this land, you had to make entry, you had to make amenities, water, lights, you had to do all of that.
Yeah,
So
but-
yeah, it is, but again, it's not wishful thinking, but it is I believe that I would think, somebody might have done that, but what you're saying is totally correct. I thinking so. You thinking so. We do know daddy thinking so.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is this, most of the people who might have left in the 60s, they live with their parents,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
They live with their parents or they were renting
Right.
before.
So they didn't even
So
have
they
any
didn't
assets.
acquire anything.
Yeah.
So then too, we go back again to, in order for them to make over there at that time, they would have had to sell out to go with something to start up something.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you sell what they have here to go over there to start something.
Yeah.
It comes back to what you were saying again, Susanna. Are you allowed time? Are you allotted the time
Yeah.
to sell back, to
Yeah,
come
exactly.
back, to start again?
Yeah. And I had you know that.
I had to know that too.
A lot of new generations have acquired what these people left there.
Correct too. Yeah, that next thing too.
Right. And they
Because
don't
think
really-
about it, Sana. Let me say a family of 4. 3 of them decide to go. Mother, father, and one of the offspring.
Right.
One of the siblings go. One remain. That one remain acquired what they would have left.
Right. Yeah. Well, boy, son, we going away.
This is yours.
They're your house.
You fix up here. Now the parents would have gone knowing that I could come back in this home. That is my child. Hopefully, because not everybody they them go and them can't come back here.
Yeah.
And then some will say, my mother and father want to come back in the morning and have a place to come back to.
Right.
What about the next offspring? Where he gonna do? He might end up coming back. The one that remain might stay accommodating to everybody until they catch your foot and you move on.
Yeah.
And not all the time it go be like that.
Yeah.
Because while you're over there now, something might happen between the two of them. Argument starts.
Yeah.
You can't come back here, I can't go there.
Yeah. A man end up with a wife. The wife family must start to live in the house too.
You
So
start
it-
to get-
it-
you start
it-
to get
yeah.
daughter-in-law in son-in-law, start to get grandchildren in the house.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about
And the
6
next brother,
we say 6
the next
years
brother
of-
coming back with 2 children too.
and a wife.
Yeah.
Wait,
This
see how this thing
this
is
thing,
so fast?
this thing, yeah, boy.
Yeah, it is a complicated issue.
We just study the tip
Yeah,
there.
the surface, yeah.
Let me ask you a question now.
Sure.
According to Lasana, let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah, man.
You ever wanted to migrate? Did?
Personally,
Uh-huh.
I never had the drive to migrate.
Mm.
I honestly never had the drive because I believed to myself what I could do there, I could do it here.
Mm.
That's how I see it. I mean, over there would have been opportunities, yes, more. As we know, as now talking, technology would have changed. You would have opportunity to more technology, more different aspects of things.
Right.
But I believe, and I have done that for myself, I believe that what I could do there, I could do it here for my country too.
Right. And have a comfortable life.
Yeah, my skill level could expand here.
Yeah.
I could expand it here to this country, and benefit my country with my culture.
Mm.
I would have looked at options, but deep down I would not have had the drive to migrate. So Christy on the other hand might have looked at that option on a different level.
Right.
You know. And yeah.
Sana, what about you?
Boy, I love Trinidad and Tobago, boy.
Let me hear you.
I love my country. I never thought about migrating.
Never thought about migrating.
Yeah. Never thought about
Not
migrating.
know how in terms of short term, migrate for a short
I
term.
could see myself going to a country that if I really like our country, go spend a little 2-3 months, come back, you know?
I
Yeah.
do kind of thing in and out.
Yeah.
Out, but not.
Or like I could go and work in a country for like a couple of months. And when
come
you,
back.
yes.
But
I had to come back and turn that money into 7 to 1, boy. Yeah.
What about you?
Me? No, I never cared to go abroad. I love Trinidad. I never thought of it.
Not that I never cared to go, you never thought of going to stay.
No, not to stay.
You
Not to
go
stay.
vacation, and come back.
You see, news filtered back home about the way Trinidadians were living in New York.
Yeah.
And I thought you had a free land here. Freedom, right? We had freedom here in Trinidad. Things I could have enjoyed as a youngster. And I couldn't see myself in a concrete jungle, 6 and 7 and 8 bolts on a door to get down there. And I went later to New York and I experienced exactly what people were saying. You walk up a flight of stairs, different doors open, a lot of kids there, but every door bolted. Bolted there. And I'm not talking, I mean, you got about 6 locks, 6 bolts on doors. And my very own cousin, he entertained us, and it was the same thing. And I thought nobody, we were free in Trinidad.
But then too, Sana, as Daddy now saying that, yeah, the freedom we have here, and what is over there, is that and how the stipulations are over there, where we could stand up outside, and out there, you know, it's kind of restricted.
Yeah.
Where you come back now and you realize this kind of freedom could cause some havoc because you've been doing a military situation
Yeah.
restricted. When you come here, you get the freedom now. You start to go little
Yeah.
off key.
Yeah. You get glad.
You get glad.
Yeah, that was like this thing could take so many different
Yeah.
spins, boy.
It could take off in different directions.
Yeah.
What about those who may be involved in crime and they come back? They had the same way you come back with higher skills in the woodworking. Men might be able to be more well organized.
All kind
Crime.
of levels. All kind of levels.
You understand? So we could even have, just imagine a man coming with a gadget where he could see through the bank wall and all kind of thing. Eh? Mission Impossible kind of styling. Yeah, so, you know, this thing on all levels have pros and cons, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pros and cons.
I mean, we already have a situation where, like in the Caucasus, where you have these foreigners.
Yeah.
You know, they're there, and you could see they're trying to coexist, but they belong to themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they come like tribes.
Yeah.
They come like tribes.
You could play better.
Trying to coexist as you say, but you are still into your group, your tribe.
Yeah.
You know, he's my tribe here, that is your tribe here, and it's just
And this could
how
be a
it
new
is.
tribe that might form, you know. Those who come back from the States.
Yeah.
My former Facebook page, Treaties,
US and treaties.
US Treaty Group or some kind of thing like that, you know, and they might try to support each other.
All of that too.
Yeah. But we will see. If there's one thing we have, once we are alive, is time. Time will tell.
Time will tell, yeah.
Well, let us wish them well.
Yes,
Of
yes,
course.
yes,
Let us
yes.
wish them well who are coming back, who have been disrupted.
If that happening to anybody and all you listening here, I really sympathize
Yeah,
with your situation.
very much.
Of
Serious.
course, it's not that we don't want you. We fear that you come back into a difficult situation.
Yeah.
Remain
But-
disposition.
But just remain positive, man.
Remain positive.
Yeah,
Remain
Remain
positive.
positive.
definitely.
And,
So
and look at the light at the tunnel.
that's
I
right.
don't want to say look at the tunnel, but look at the light through the tunnel. You're gonna reach there.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Come back with a positive mindset, positive value. Make it work for you. When
Make it
life
work.
give you a lemon, make a lemonade and share.
That's right. That's right.
Make lemonade and share.
Yeah, man.
Did you see the mango blossoms, boy?
Yes.
Pretty, yeah?
Flowers in nice, so plenty flowers.
Yeah, man.
Trying to see if I could get our branch to come across here.
They coming by the time they'll be, they'll be over here.
With our branch.
With our branch should come
Yeah.
over here.
Did you want a pomegranate, boy? When you're going to take that one to the left
Okay,
there.
yes, I'll take that one. I'll
Yeah,
get,
yeah.
ripe.
Yeah, looking good. Well, fellas, thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yes, and thanks to the roti sander and, of course,
Yes, man.
Flying Solo Boy.